I never thought I'd be the one caught in the middle of a silent storm, but there I was, staring at my phone in disbelief. The message I just read wasn't meant for me, it was meant to exclude me. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. They had been talking about me, planning without me, and keeping secrets I never imagined existed. It all started when I noticed subtle changes in their behavior, laughing a little too hard at inside jokes I wasn't part of, exchanging glances that seemed to say more than words ever could. At first, I told myself I was overthinking, that maybe I was just tired or paranoid. But deep down, a nagging feeling kept growing, whispering that something was off. The turning point came unexpectedly. A friend, someone I considered close, accidentally left their social media account logged in on my phone. What I saw next shattered every ounce of trust I had left. Private conversations, plans made without me, and worst of all, comments about how I was being kept in the dark on purpose. I felt like the ground beneath me was crumbling. How could they do this? How long had they been hiding this from me? The betrayal wasn't just about exclusion. It was about the fact that I mattered so little to them that they didn't even think I deserved the truth. I tried to confront them, gathering the courage to ask the questions that had been eating away at me. But every attempt was met with defensiveness, denial, or worse, silence. It was like pulling teeth, trying to extract honesty from a group that had collectively decided to build walls around themselves. The nights that followed were sleepless and filled with replayed conversations, searching for clues I might have missed. Every laugh, every glance, every word suddenly carried a weight I hadn't noticed before. The people I trusted seemed like strangers wearing familiar faces. I found myself retreating, unable to bear the thought of facing them without knowing where I truly stood. The isolation was crushing, but the alternative, pretending ignorance, felt like a betrayal of my own self-respect. I needed answers, even if they hurt. One evening, as I scrolled through messages and hidden chats, a pattern emerged. Plans had been made, events I wasn't invited to, decisions about shared projects that excluded me outright. It wasn't just a simple oversight, it was intentional, strategic, and deeply personal. The worst part was realizing that some of these people had been acting like nothing was wrong, smiling in my face, while plotting behind my back. The duplicity was staggering. How could they juggle such conflicting roles so effortlessly? I started documenting everything, saving screenshots, writing down dates and times, piecing together the story they never wanted me to know. It became a puzzle of deceit, each new piece revealing a layer of complexity I wasn't prepared for. My emotions were a chaotic storm, anger, sadness, confusion, and disbelief, all tangled up and threatening to overwhelm me at any moment. It was hard to separate the facts from my feelings, but the truth was crystal clear. Their hidden agendas were real, and I was the target. At work, I noticed subtle shifts too. Projects I used to be part of suddenly moved without my input. Colleagues who once collaborated with me now avoided eye contact, and whispers followed me down the halls. It was like I'd become an outsider overnight. The isolation was suffocating, but it also forced me to look inward. Who was I without this group? Could I survive the fallout? These questions kept me awake as I wrestled with the reality that my support system had fractured beyond recognition. One day, I decided to reach out to someone I thought might be honest. We met at a quiet cafe, the tension palpable as I laid out what I knew. Their reaction was a mixture of guilt and hesitation, confirming that the web of secrets was wider than I had imagined. They confessed to being caught between loyalty and fear, pressured to keep silent by others. It was heartbreaking to hear how quickly the lines of friendship had blurred into manipulation and control, leaving people trapped in a cycle of deceit. This confession sparked a tiny flicker of hope. Maybe there was a way to break through the lies and rebuild trust. But the path ahead was murky, filled with uncertainty and the risk of further heartbreak. Back at home, I stared at the pile of messages and notes I'd collected, feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of betrayal. It was like a physical weight pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe or think straight. I realized I couldn't keep carrying this burden alone. I reached out to a counselor, someone trained to help navigate the complexities of trust and trauma. Talking about it was painful, but also strangely liberating, like lifting a veil that had clouded my mind. Through therapy, I began to understand that their actions said more about their flaws than my worth. It was a difficult lesson, but it gave me a sliver of strength to face the next chapter of this unfolding story. The next time I saw them, I was calmer, more guarded, but also clearer about what I needed: honesty, respect, and space to heal. Their reactions varied. Some apologized, others stayed silent, and a few walked away entirely. It was a moment of reckoning for all of us. Despite the pain, I found moments of unexpected kindness from strangers and acquaintances who reached out once they heard pieces of my story. Their empathy reminded me that not everyone is capable of betrayal, and that connection is still possible. Every day since has been about reclaiming my sense of self, rebuilding boundaries, and learning to trust again, not blindly, but cautiously and with intention. The scars remain, but they serve as reminders of my resilience rather than my defeat. I'm still untangling the threads of what happened, trying to understand why they did what they did and how I can move forward. It's a slow process, full of setbacks and small victories that shape who I am becoming. Sometimes I catch myself replaying moments, wondering if I missed signs or could have stopped it earlier. But I'm learning to forgive myself for what I didn't see and to focus on what I can control now. The hidden agendas that once felt like a trap are now a catalyst for growth. I'm discovering strength I didn't know I had, and the courage to seek out relationships built on transparency and mutual respect. I don't know what the future holds with these people who betrayed me. Maybe some bridges can be rebuilt, or maybe it's time to let them go entirely. Either way, I'm determined to protect my peace and honor my own truth. This experience has changed me, shaped me in ways I'm still trying to understand. But one thing is clear: I won't let hidden agendas define my story or silence my voice. I'm here to reclaim my narrative, one honest step at a time. As I share this, it's not just about exposing betrayal. It's about shining a light on the pain that often hides in plain sight. To anyone who's ever felt excluded or deceived, you're not alone. And sometimes, the hardest truths lead us to the strongest versions of ourselves. So here I am, still standing, still fighting to make sense of what they did behind my back. The journey is far from over, but with each day, I'm learning to trust my instincts again and to build a future where honesty isn't just hoped for, it's demanded. I'm sharing this story not for pity or sympathy, but because these hidden agendas aren't just personal. They're a reminder of how important transparency and respect are in every relationship we hold dear. And sometimes, the hardest battles are the ones fought within. If you've ever been blindsided by those you trusted, you know the ripple effect it causes. It shakes your foundation, your confidence, and your sense of belonging. But it can also ignite a fire, a drive to reclaim control and redefine your boundaries. In the days ahead, I'm focusing on healing, on surrounding myself with people who honor truth and kindness. It's not easy to rebuild after betrayal, but it's necessary, and I'm ready to do the work, one step at a time. I've realized that sometimes people's hidden agendas are more about their own fears and insecurities than anything to do with you. Understanding that doesn't erase the hurt, but it helps me see their actions in a less personal light. Every conversation I've had since then has been carefully measured, testing waters, cautiously opening doors to honesty. Some have surprised me with their willingness to be vulnerable. Others have confirmed what I already feared. The hardest part is accepting that some relationships can't be salvaged, no matter how much you want them to be. And letting go of those is a grief all its own, a mourning of what could have been, not just what is. But even in loss, there's space for new beginnings. I'm starting to meet people who value openness, who don't shy away from difficult truths, and who are willing to stand beside me without hidden agendas of their own. This experience has sharpened my instincts, teaching me to look beyond smiles and words, to listen for what's unsaid, and to trust my gut when it senses something's wrong. It's a painful lesson, but a vital one. Sometimes, late at night, I replay the moments before the betrayal was clear, trying to pinpoint where it all started. But maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the focus should be on what I do now, how I rebuild from here. I'm learning to set boundaries that protect my heart without shutting down my capacity to connect. It's a delicate balance, but one I'm determined to master so I don't fall prey to hidden agendas again. The scars from this ordeal are still fresh, and some days are harder than others. But each time I feel the sting, I remind myself that pain is a sign of growth, a marker that I'm still human, still vulnerable, and still able to heal. I won't pretend it's easy to move forward when the people you trusted most have betrayed you, but I also won't let that betrayal define me or dictate my future. I'm reclaiming my story, one truth at a time. There are moments when I catch myself smiling again, genuine and unguarded. Those moments remind me that healing is possible, that trust can be rebuilt, and that I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. So here I am, still unraveling the web of hidden agendas, still piecing together the fragments of my trust, still fighting to find peace in the aftermath. And though the path is uncertain, I'm walking it with my eyes wide open. Thank you for listening to this part of my story. It's not easy to share, but it's necessary. Because sometimes, the only way to heal is to speak the truth out loud, even when it hurts, even when it's raw, even when the ending isn't clear.